So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Yoga Therapy. Today, we're primarily working with the upper back, neck, and shoulders. I will be adding some lower back work for a couple of you, as well as working with the hamstrings and hips. So, I think we're working with the whole body, but I will be focusing here. And we're going to work again with light meditations. This time of year, I think it's really important with all this darkness to connect to the inner light. So today, please have a chair available as well as the usual props. Hands at the heart. Inhale, open the arms to the sides and visualize that inner light shining out of the heart, radiating like the sun. And exhale, bow the head to the heart, gather that light in as you draw the belly in. Inhale, opening up to that inner light. And exhale, linking with the source of that light deep within you. I'm going to add Om on exhale. You can just breathe or hum or do Om in your own timing and do this in your own timing. Hands at the heart in Anjali Mudra, or you could cross your hands over. Just connecting with that light deep in the heart. Yoga Sutras, chapter 136, Patanjali reminds us by meditating on the radiance of the heart. Suffering is removed. By meditating on the radiance of the heart, we remove darkness, we remove suffering. So I'm going to bring that sutra into class, one of my favorite ones, and I was discussing it with my teacher last night in class. So it feels appropriate today. Inhale, just imagining that radiance all around you. And exhale, connecting to the heart and to the legs and the feet. And just keep this going. And if you like, you can add coming up onto the toes. Your choice. And exhale through the center. Inhale. And I'm going to add the sutra to this. Vishokava, letting go of suffering. Jyotishmati, filling up with radiance. Vishokava, Jyotishmati. Jyotishmati. And then from here, starting to go side to side. If you have any pain in your upper back, lower back, try to just find that spot and adjust your arms until you can feel that spot open for you. You can bring one arm down, you can leave them up. Just going side to side in your own timing. And if you like, imagining the radiance of the moon now. We're going to bring in the softer, more gentler light of the moon now. In Hatha Yoga, we're trying to link with the Ha, the heat of the sun, that brilliant radiance, and then the softer light of the moon, the Tha. So let's just now bring in that moonlight and that radiance of the moonlight. So this Jyotishmati, this radiance, it's the sun, it's the moon, the inner light, ultimately. The sun represents the light of the soul. The moon represents, the full moon represents receiving that light of the soul. When the mind, the moon, is aligned, is in sync with our heart. If you like, you can visualize that big circle of the moon. I'm adding that lower arm just to help me draw that circle a bit more. We practice this way, it's called bhavana. It's the attitude with which we practice. When we add bhavana, it deepens the effect, the siddhi. Get greater siddhis, greater positive effects from our practice when we add bhavana. And just finishing up in your own time. Maybe make a sankalpa promise to yourself, an intention for your practice, linked to the heart. Could be, may I be filled with loving kindness. May I be filled with peace and joy. May my mind align with my heart. May they be one in thought, word, and action. All right, so we're going to move into some more side movements. And this is for both lower and upper back. So for those of you who've got some lower back things going on, this can be helpful just to work one side at a time. If you're working more with your upper back, just focus your mind more on the rib cage and the effects. So inhale, center, arm side or no arms. If these weights are aggravating your back in any way, just don't use the arms. So arms are weights. So be careful. And I have my feet parallel. I'm hoping you can see that. And that targets more the upper back and very gently the lower back. A lot of stability when your feet are parallel. Just side to side, Just waking up that spine. And if you like, you can visualize that full moon and that radiance all around you, just drawing those circles. Bringing in Ujjayi Pranayama, constricting the throat. And just finishing up. I'm going to take it up another notch. If this is too much, just go back to the first practice. Inhale, arms coming up, shoulder height. Exhale, coming towards the side, Trikonasana. Now, if it's comfortable, we're going to extend that top arm and get into the lower back, the upper back, starting on the left. And then exhale, bringing the hand up and back and looking away. Inhale, coming up. And exhale, side. Just keep doing that in your own time. Inhale, extend. Exhale, Trikonasana. Use the core a bit more by letting go of the leg. Inhale, coming up. If it's too much, just get rid of that arm extension. That is a lot harder work. So you can just do the up and down of the triangle. And if adding neck and shoulders, you can look away as you bring the hand back with the arm up. And just one more time. And release in the center. And then we'll do the right side. Again, Krishnamacharya in his ladder work, he started with left and then moved to right. Classically, in yoga therapy, you can always start with your easy side and then go to the hard side. So we did that left and right, starting with the moon, the receptive energy, and moving to the sun, the more active energy. Exhale. So that was his later work. His earlier work, it was all right and then left. Inhale up, exhale down. So just start with that, just that first piece. I'm bringing my hip the opposite direction. And then when you're ready, you can add that inhale, extend the top arm. You might hold on to the leg to help you with that. Exhale, hand back, look away. Inhale up and just going back and forth with that in your own timing. Try to really draw that lower belly in as you do this core work. It's a lot of work. And if you like adding the bhavana of the moon, that full moon, the radiance of the moon, I've been visualizing recently sometimes you see that rainbow around the moon. And we're just going to do one more. Just doing around 4 to 6 per side, depending on you. And release. And let's just do a forward bend with the arms at the sides. I'm going to sweep them behind. I believe we did this last week. So inhale again, drawing that full moon around you. And as you exhale, you're going to bring the arms down. You're going to bring the hands to the lower back, palms up as you come forward to your place. Now, some of you will be coming just with your head to the chair or to a countertop. Inhale, coming up, or you could come all the way to your shins. So just pick your medicine. Just notice in your upper and lower back how this forward bend feels. Also with shoulder injuries, sometimes that forward bend can be too much. So with some shoulder injuries, this modification can be very helpful because your shoulders aren't hanging forward with gravity. You're keeping them a little bit more connected to the spine. It's just working that rotation of the shoulders and the stretching of the back. And just finishing up your last round. Exhale, hands to the heart. Okay, so we're going to go into our next side pose. So I'm just starting with the side poses just to warm up the spine a bit more side to side because of what's in the room today. So nice wide feet, Parshvakonasana. And you can do this as gently as you like. Inhale, arms at the sides, or you can make it as hard as you like. Exhale, bend that left knee and then come to the side, aligning your shoulders. I think we did this last week. Inhale, extend the top arm. And exhale, you're going to bend the elbow, look down, open the hip. Inhale, extend, look straight ahead. Exhale, hand back, look down again, stretch through the side of the neck, get into those scalenes, the front of the shoulder. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, release the arms down. We'll take that break in between. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, bend the knee over the ankle, through your warrior two into aligned shoulders. Inhale, extend the arm long and maybe open that front hip. Keep those shoulders aligned. Exhale, bend the elbow, look down. Inhale, extend. Exhale, hand back, look down. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, release. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, feet parallel, arms down. Just take a rest. Move to the other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend the knee and come into your side bend. Inhale, extend that top arm. Exhale, bend the elbow, look down, open the hip. Inhale, extend. Exhale, hand up to the sky, look away with the head. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, release. 3 more times, your own timing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, or with me. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, feet parallel, arms down. Step together, samastiti. Hands at the heart. Notice how you feel. Vishokava. May that suffering be removed. Jyotishmati. By that radiance of the light. Vishokava. Jyotishmati. Vishokava. Jyotishmati. Hands at the heart. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be safe from all harm. May I be healthy, happy, and whole. May I be filled with endless joy. Let's move into a forward bend. So you can do those angel arms we did earlier, or you can use a belt. Depends on your shoulders and how they're feeling. I'm going to show with the belt. First created this cross-country skiing with my cross-country ski pole, but you can use a yoga belt. You might want it quite wide. You can have no loop and just use a very wide belt that way. But anyway, just see how it feels. So you're going to inhale, bring your arms up, and then exhale as you come forward. Just release down. So we're just going to start with that. Inhale, move the arms in line with the ears, come up, and I'm pressing out into the belt. And exhale, coming forward.
Inhale, move the arms first in line with the ears and come up. And exhale, come forward. Again, if this is too much weight for your back as you come up and down, just get rid of the belt and do those angel arms instead. Pressing out into that belt and feel that in the side of the shoulders. Let's do one more. Okay, release. We're going to take the belt the other direction now. So I've got my palms facing out. Inhale, I'm just going to arch the spine and bring the belt up a bit. Exhale, I'm going to come forward and see where my shoulders want to rotate to. As I come forward, I'm going to bend my knees a bit. Inhale, I start moving my arms. So my hands are in line with my shoulders. I come up, and then at the end, I'm going to arch the upper back, bring that belt up maybe a little bit. Exhale, forward bend. Rotate the shoulders forward. Inhale, bring the shoulders back. And I've got my palms facing out and I'm pressing into that belt, and I can feel that in my rotator cuffs. So just keep that going back and forth. You could bring your head to a chair if you don't want to come down as far, or your head to a countertop or table. It doesn't look like any of you are choosing that, so I'll just keep going with this variation. And then some of you might want to take it a little further by just staying in the forward bend and going to Ardha Uttanasana, half forward bend, or this pose is called Prasarita Pada Uttanasana, so the half version of that wide-legged forward bend. And just see which one you like better. Do you like going up and down all the way, or just working that shoulder rotation at the bottom a bit more? It's also strengthening for the back, so be careful if you have a back injury to just maybe come from inhale, standing, to exhale halfway down and use a chair to put your head on. So I'm just going to show that variation for those of you with some other injuries. Just your inhale, standing, exhale, forward bend, head to the chair or to a table. And when you're ready, just stay at the bottom or at your chair and breathe there. You could keep moving the arms up and down if you like. Or just stay, just see what your shoulders say. Mine like to keep moving. They don't like just hanging out there, but depends on you. And coming all the way up. And release. Hopefully you got a nice stretch in those rotator cuffs. And then into your neck. All right, so I thought we'd do a little cat-cow at the chair. Because this pose, well, it doesn't involve our knees, which is good for most of us, not to have pressure on our knees, but also it gives you more range of motion. So you actually get a bigger stretch. I'm also doing this for those of you with some lower back stuff. Now, if you've got some compression in your lower back, I have done this when I've had those kinds of injuries, with a belt on my hips, into my hip flexor, and the belt tied to a door or to a post. So just going to keep that in mind for those of you who have a lower back compression injury right now, that you could play with having a bit of traction on the lower back as you do this. It can feel amazing. I used to get back spasms, and then I finally figured out what was going on, and fortunately I haven't had one in a while, but I'm always very, very careful when I feel any compression in my lower back to start working these kinds of poses. So this one works upper and lower back. The whole spine is stretched in that exhale. I don't know if you can feel that. I actually find this more effective than the kneeling version. As I inhale, I'm bending my knees so that they're tracking along my second toes and lifting my chest, and I'm bending my elbows too and getting into my mid back. Draw the shoulders down as you do that inhale, and then exhale, stretch the whole spine, draw up from the pelvic floor up to the belly button. Now, if you're feeling this more on one side of your back versus the other, anywhere in your back, upper or lower, you might want to play with bringing one foot behind. This is used for scoliosis, but it can be any other kind of imbalance in the spine. And the leg you bring back, you're going to stretch that side of your back a bit more. So if you don't have any imbalance, you could just try both sides and see how that feels. Switching sides. Notice how that stretches one side of the lower and even upper back a little bit differently. Okay, now if you have the chair away from the wall, and if you have a wall behind you, you can move to the next pose, which is upper and lower back strength. So if you're not working with a strength pose today, just keep doing the cat-cow. So I'm going to I'll bring actually my real left foot up. Now, that's lower back, that leg, and then the arm that extends, that's upper back strength. So that's your inhale. Exhale, you're going to give everything a hug. Inhale, extend. Now I'm keeping my chin in. You could look up. That's a bit more classical. So if your neck likes looking forward, you could add that, but just be careful. It can be strain on the neck. This is strengthening for the whole back, upper and lower back. So we're going to start working with a bit of strength work for the upper back today as well. But if you have any pain in your back, just do the previous exercise. After doing that 6 times, approximately switching sides, you might have done a bit more than that. Just find your pose to begin with. The advantage of having this camera is you can actually see, oh, am I in alignment here? Just finding that pose. You don't have to add the arm. That's more weight. Inhale, extend. The arm and the leg, those are weights. Exhale, bend everything in. Yes, you can do this on your knees, of course. I actually find the standing version harder. It's a lot more work because you have a longer lever here. You're also getting more movement into the back. So this is a standing version of Chakravakasana, or strengthening the back, whole back. Mythical bird pose, or firebird, sometimes translated. So you look like a bird here. Doing that around 6 times. And I'm using the wall behind me because that makes it a little harder again. All right, from here, I want you to stretch into a downward facing dog. Using the chair, you're going to inhale, look up. Exhale, bend the knees, look back. Get that stretch under the armpits. Inhale, looking up. This one, you could also have a belt on your hips with that belt tied to a door or to a post. Some of you know my yoga studio, I have it tied to my stairs. If that's feeling really good, perhaps you add an up dog, down dog. Just be careful. This might be too much. Lift away from the chair. Doing that up dog, exhale back. And again, this is working the whole spine, upper and lower back. You can add that lift of the head, nodding the head up and down to work on flossing the nerves of the neck. Notice how that feels. Scoop your hips under, lift away. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. We're just going to stay in our downward facing dog again. Again, you can do this on the floor or hands on blocks for differing effects. With the chair, it creates more range of motion in the back. Your hands lengthen like this. Again, you can inhale, look up, press those hands down, exhale, bring the head in, look at the knees. That really works with kyphosis, rounding of the upper back. It's one of my favorite ways to get into a rounded upper back is this movement, and stretches the back of the shoulders. And when you're ready, coming out of that, and coming to your samastiti, notice how you feel. All right, so the next thing we're going to move into, doing lots of side bend type things today, which wasn't exactly my plan, but I think it's just what's in the room today. So we're going to work with the side bend. We're going to move into some strength work, one arm at a time. So please come close to a wall and have a chair at the wall as well. So you need both of those. And bring one hand to the wall. And we're just going to start with side plank at the wall. So you're going to bring your feet away a little bit. And just see if you can put a little bit of weight on that hand. Now, some of you, this is not going to work because you've got arthritis in your hands, etc. So you can alternatively put your hand on the chair, your forearm on the chair, that is, and just stretch one leg out like this. Okay. And then you don't have to put any weight on your hand. Okay, so either one of those, either on your knees or here standing, or you can just not use anything on your hand. Inhale, lengthening, and I'm sticking that hip out. So I think for the lower back people, this might also feel good. Please do try to use a wall, and then exhale, release the other direction. Now that hand at the wall, if you're feeling any nerve pain or something like that, try turning the hand out or in and just see if that changes things for you a bit. So my hand that does a lot of mouse work was like, oh, I don't like this. So I just moved it a bit and it's much better. So just stretching that whole side body while strengthening the shoulder. It's like a wall plank with movement. So that's inhale and exhale, release, doing it around 6 times or less if your body's telling you to stop. Listen to that. And we're going to go to the other side. I'm not going to switch walls. So you'll see the back side of the pose now. Inhale, and just wrist in line with the shoulder, perhaps turning the hand out or in according to the shoulder and the wrist. Notice where you feel this in your back. If you come closer, it's easier. Further away with the feet, it's harder. Vashisthasana. side plank. Now I'm playing with the movement of the hips so that I get into those quadratus lumborum muscles, stabilizing muscles of the lower back as well, which for many of us get tight through too much sitting and just age, compression of the spine. Always adjusting that hand as you need to. And after you've done at least 6, coming out of that and noticing how you feel, that's a bit of strength work. All right, so that felt good. I hope it did. We're going to do some wall push-ups, and I haven't done those this term, so I want to do a little strength work today. So again, you can do this at the wall. You could use fists. I did mention that. Some of you use that variation, fists. Or you could go onto your forearms and just do a bit of movement back and forth or on the floor. So I'm aligning my wrists and my shoulders to begin. Chaturanga, so wall chaturanga. Exhale, lowering my chest towards the wall. My forearms can even come to the wall. And inhale, pressing away. You can adjust the height of your hands to comfort. This is working those triceps a lot, the back of the biceps. And what I like about this wall version is it doesn't put as much pressure on the wrists. So even those of you with some wrist issues, hopefully you'll be able to do this. If not, try with the chair. This is really not working for you. I'll just give one more alternative. So you can use your blocks. So I know one of you has quite severe arthritis in your wrists. So you can use your blocks and just bring them back like this. So exhale back. These blocks are about 1.5 pounds each. You could use a weight as well if you wanted a 5-pound or less weight, just like that. Okay, so you could try that. Just trying to give you some ideas. Make this accessible. Just finishing up. Some of you might keep going a little bit and just do a stretch at the wall as a counter. Kind of looks like a ski hill, I suppose. And you can do that movement of the chest up and down if you like. Inhale up, exhale back. A little bit different than the chair version of up down dog when you do it at the wall. So pick either. Okay, we're going to do one more wall pose. So I'm going to try it with this wall. So I've got this block. You can use a book. Krishnamacharya and Desagachar and my teacher Sridhar, they use books a lot. So you can use this, or this one is actually a little bit more the shape of a book. And bring your hands, your forearms to the wall. I'm hoping you can see that okay. And then start stepping back. And notice how that feels in the shoulders. If it's too much, you can come closer. If it's not enough, step further away. You want to be good and warm before you do this. Stretching those triceps and into the shoulders. And coming out of it. Hopefully that was a good thing. And yes, you can do that on the floor. It's nice to do the wall versions because they're just different. The angle is different. So I do encourage you to try that. We're going to do now side plank at the chair. So again, if you've got a wrist issue, I'm going to show you variation for that. So we're going to start with this. My hand is on the chair and I'm aligning my shoulders. That is not working for you. Come down on your knees and forearm on the chair. It is nice to actually have a yoga mat on that chair. Maybe extend one arm out, one leg out rather, and one arm up. So you can do that. Or just have the knees bent. It's a little harder and just stay there. Okay, so either one of those. I think all of you will be able to do one of those versions and just stay here. You can add that top arm if you want, especially with scoliosis. You might want to do that. Inhale up, lengthen that top arm, exhale, release. And we're going to do the other side because that's a lot. So again, you can use the hand on the seat of the chair. If your wrist is bothering you, come down, forearm on the seat of the chair, and try to find an angle that works for your body. This one's a little bit awkward to get into, but once you're there, it's not too bad. These side planks, really great for the core, but also for strengthening one arm at a time, one shoulder at a time. Really strengthening. Can add opposite leg if you want to make it even harder. I'm not going to do that today. After you've done around 6, coming out of it, and do your downward dog at the chair. You can move in that, inhale, looking up, exhale back. And let's just finish by going into a full Uttanasana, where we move to a bit more chair work. Exhale, forward bend. You can do one side at a time if you prefer, one side at forward bend. And then from here, if you want to add a bit more for the upper back, fold those arms, hold opposite elbows, inhale. Move the arms in line with your ears, come halfway up. Your buttocks can be at the wall. For more support, exhale, forward bend. Inhale, halfway up. This one again is great for kyphosis, rounding up the upper back, exhale, release. Again, if your lower back is bothering you, bring your buttocks to the wall or sit in a chair. This also can be nice for hamstring injuries. Just having that support of buttocks on the wall, and stay in your forward bend and breathe. And when you're ready, gradually coming up, inhale halfway up, exhale, release, inhale all the way up. Exhale, we're going to grab our chair and we're going to do some twists in the chair, which I haven't done in a long time. They're extremely helpful for tightness in the upper back, neck, and shoulders. So I'm hoping you'll enjoy this. I'm going to angle my camera down a bit. It seems to be a bit high today. Okay, that's much better. All right, you'll be able to see me better. All right, so have a seat. I'm going to sit on a block because my torso is quite long. Or sorry, my legs are long. So yeah, just sitting nice and straight wherever you are. You can put a bolster between your legs or put one of these bricks, these hard blocks between your legs, and you can squeeze that in. And then we're just going to go side to side. So it's quite gentle. Inhale, center, but it's going to get tough pretty soon. Exhale, come to your left if that works for you. And look back to where you can. We're going to get a bit more into the neck now. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, other side. Notice where you feel that in your upper back, in your neck and your shoulders. Repeat that for 3 rounds back and forth. And you might keep it going. After our next one, I'm going to stay on your left. And I'm just going to see about adjusting those arms. So I might bring that back hand somewhere else on the chair. Depends on your chair, of course. I'm going to bring mine to the other side of the chair. Could bring it behind, just holding the back of the chair, holding a rung in the center. Just notice how that feels on that back shoulder. So be careful, this is strong. Okay, I just found my spot. So find yours. Feel that in that back shoulder blade. As you exhale, keep your hips forward as you exhale, turning your head back. Now inhale, untwist the head to the other shoulder. Exhale, twist back, and inhale, untwist. And again, adjust that back arm until your shoulder says yes. You will only know where that spot is. So this is upper back, neck, and shoulders being targeted now. You might be able to change where your hand is over time to take it a little more deeply. And just finishing up. And we're going to go to the other side. Inhale, arms side. Exhale, twisting. Again, I'm sitting quite far forward on the chair, so there's room behind me. Just adjusting that back hand until it finds that sweet spot for that back shoulder. When you're ready, inhale, twist to the front shoulder with the head, and exhale, twist back. Hopefully it's getting rid of some stickiness in your upper back, neck, and shoulders. Exhale, twist, inhale, untwist. Just finishing up. And untwist. And notice how you feel. So we're going to do a forward bend now. I'm going to get rid of that block. I'm also going to get rid of this block I'm sitting on just to make it a little less slippery. And I'm going to hold the back of the chair. I'm going to show you a side view for this one. So some of you will remember this from live classes. I'm sitting quite far forward. Inhale, I'm arching the spine, the upper back. I'm holding the back of the chair. And exhale, I come forward, I slide my hands up to a place that feels comfortable for my back. Inhale, arching up and even bending those elbows and lifting the chest. I could have a belt on the upper arms for this as well. I'm trying to target that upper back, press the elbows out, bend those elbows. And I also feel this in my shoulder that has an injury from a gazillion years ago. I can feel that in my rotator cuff. So if you have some of those old injuries, you might be getting into those places where angels fear to tread, as they say. And then, if it's comfortable, I'm going to bring my buttocks a little further back so I can hinge back a bit more. It depends on the length of your arms, of course. You might need to sit back a bit and see if you can come a little bit further down. And then inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, forward bend. Release the upper back, neck, and shoulders. Inhale, lengthen, look up. And exhale, forward bend, look down. Just notice that in the whole spine. So if you've got a lower back thing going on, this might also really feel good because it's getting some traction for the whole spine. That's a version of Paschimottanasana, you could say, coming all the way forward. You can widen the feet a bit if you like. Just have traction in the whole spine. If this is not comfortable, you can grab a block, give you a bit of height. And again, if you've got compression in your lower back, this might feel really good for releasing that compression. Just staying in that chair forward bend. Just widening my feet a bit, playing with how that feels in my lower back. Bring the hands forward, just adjust. Gradually coming up, carefully, halfway, hands on the thighs, inhale, exhale, stay. And then the rest, the way out, come up very slowly. We're going to put the chair aside now as we come down to our backs,
Just take your time transitioning, a bit of a transition. And I'm going to bring the camera down just a touch more. I think it's pretty good, actually. Let's see. Okay. All right. So hopefully you feel good after all of that. Finding yourself on your back. I want you to grab 1 or 2 blocks. I haven't taught this in a while. You could have up to 3 or even 4 blocks. For those of you who don't have these, you can use, you could use a weight. You could use a 3-pound weight. That's what 2 blocks is, or a 5-pound weight. That's about 3 of these blocks or more. We're just going to do a little bit of that work with strengthening the arms using the blocks. So Krishnamacharya used books, and I've been asked about this, can you use weights in yoga? And I'm like, well, Krishnamacharya used books as weights, so, you know, I think it's okay. But, you know, the problem is it starts to look a little bit too gym-like, so I do try to use the traditional yoga props just to send the message that this is yoga, not a fitness class. It has a different vibe, I guess, but there's no reason why you couldn't use a weight or a soup can, whatever works. So inhale, coming up to your place. You might not go all the way back. You might have bolster behind you that you come back to. Using this Tadaka Mudra. You can tie your blocks together with a belt if you find that you're having to hold them together too much and your wrists don't like that. Just notice how that feels in your neck and your shoulders. This is also strengthening your lower back. You can always have your knees bent rather than straight. So just keep that in mind. Okay, we're now going to work with the triceps. So this is in lieu of the chaturanga. So if you can't do chaturanga because of your wrists and you want to strengthen your triceps, this is just a way of starting to work in it. So I'm using a modification of Tadaka Mudra. Exhale, hands coming down, and inhale, hands coming straight up to the ceiling. Again, if it's not enough weight, you can hold more blocks, tie them together with a belt. You can use a book, a big heavy book, as Krishnamacharya would use, and Mr. Desikachar as well, and my own teacher. Use a soup can, or a weight. I find this quite soothing for the nervous system. I have worked with this kind of thing with trauma cases where there's a lot of held onto energy in the heart from injury, emotional pain in the heart. And you might have a little bit of shaking after doing some of this work. Let that happen. Just let it release out of your nervous system if you've been holding on to some guarding in the heart. This kind of resistance work I found to be very effective. Maybe feels like your body nervous system's creating a boundary and pushing away where it hasn't been able to in the past. So I invite you to play with that. And release. And just take a rest.
And if you feel like you want to add this, you don't have to use these weights, but you can use a block in each hand, or it could be 2 blocks in each hand, but that's a little hard to hold on to. We're going to do this with Supta Baddha Konasana. Inhale, opening, arms to the side, and exhale, bring the hands to the heart as you close the knees. Again, you could hold on to 2 blocks, 2 books, 2 weights. Those ball weights are nice for this, those 1.5 pounds. These blocks are about 1.5 pounds each. You could use 5-pound weights if you know that you have that capacity. This is strengthening those pectoral muscles. The pecs, as they're called. And opening the hips at the same time, working with the core. Use that core to close your legs. And notice emotionally how this feels to open the heart and open the hips. So those 2 emotional centers, the heart and the hips, the 2nd chakra and the 4th chakra, Anahata chakra, the heart. When you feel sad, when you feel dukkam, suffering, where do you feel it? Do you feel it in your heart or in your gut or both? I really noticed a change myself through my yoga practice of where I feel my emotions. Now it's almost all in my heart. It used to be in my gut. It might be both. I just have noticed a change. I'm not really sure what it means, but definitely noticed a change. So just reflect on that for a moment. Just finishing up, staying in that open position, letting go of those blocks. Maybe putting those blocks actually under the hips just to keep the opening even on each hip. You might bring your arms overhead into the classical pose, Supta Baddha Konasana. Just notice which one feels better. You might do cactus arms at the side. Just notice what your neck and shoulders would like. This pose can be done lying on a bolster as well, or a rolled mat. When you're ready, just finishing up. So if you're practicing later at home, you could play with that. We're gonna just do a nice counter pose. Exhale, bend the knees into the chest. Inhale, legs up, arms up. Exhale, knees into the chest. If you want to take this up a notch, you can do it with the straight leg version we've been working on. Exhale, bring one leg up. You can bend the opposite knee. If you like, inhale, extend. Exhale, other leg. Again, you can bend the opposite knee. Inhale, extend. So whole body stretch. And you can always do both legs. If you're feeling very strong, just be careful. It's a lot of work. And then when you come down, you could come down just 1/4 of the way down, or 3/4 of the way down, or all the way. Be careful, that's a lot of work on the core. And rectus abdominis. And simple version of Panasana and legs up. And just finishing up, knees to chest, Panasana, or happy baby. happy baby, you can hold under the thighs if you prefer. You can hold the shins, the calves, or the feet. I like to hold the outsides of the feet so I can really draw my tailbone down to the ground and decompress my back. For those of you with some lower back compression going on. When you feel complete, finding your Shavasana, welcome you to lie on a rolled blanket, a rolled mat. You could also use these hard blocks, these bricks. Use the bricks, it goes from about the bra strap up your spine, and then the other block under your head, any height that works for your neck. So I like it on the second setting myself, but that is very individual. So please adjust. If you're lying on a bolster, feel free to put a block under the head of the bolster, or just a pillow or blanket under your head. If your lower back is hurting, in the bolster pose, put a block or pillow under the buttocks. And just rest in this chest opener, stretching those shoulder and pec muscles that we worked today quite a bit. And you can always move your arms in this pose. Inhale, arms up, exhale, sweep them down. Just show that you can create some angel arms in this pose. It works very well with a rolled mat. At some point, just come to stay and breathe. Inhale into the chest, into the belly. Exhale, draw the belly in, the chest falls. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat a few times. When you feel ready, adding another second and repeating 2 or 3 times, and then moving to the next step. If you feel any gasping or shortness of breath when you're adding another count, it means you've gone too far. Work to about 70 or 80% of your capacity. Inhale from the chest to the belly, exhale belly to the chest. You want to add a little bit more of the inhale effect to the pranayama. Add a hold after inhale, half the length of your inhale or the same length. playing with where your arms are in space. If your back has had enough, just go onto your back in regular Shavasana. You can put a bolster or pillow under your thighs, or a rolled mat or blanket as well. You feel complete. Just rolling to one side, perhaps with your left side facing up, your moon side. That works for you. Put a pillow under your head or your arm. Just rest inside child's pose. It's a counter for the back, or full child's pose if you want more of a counter. When you're ready, coming up to a seated position. Do some pranayama. Last 2 weeks that we're moving towards are all about mind and emotions. Keep working with the whole spine. But we're going to be working a little bit more with pranayama meditation, which we start moving towards today. Just finding your pose of comfort to sit today. Might be in a chair, might be on the floor, so see what works for you. We're just going to do some Ujjayi pranayama with exhale one nostril and then the other. Anuloma Ujjayi pranayama, this is called. So inhale, constricting the throat as you inhale if you can. And exhale through the left nostril using your Mriki Mudra if you can, or just a little beak with your hand. So either one of those. Exhaling through your left nostril. Inhale through your throat. Ujjayi pranayama. Both nostrils. Exhale. Other side. I'm switching hands as I exhale side to side. Right nostril now. I'm using my left hand. Classically, it's always the right hand, but I like to switch side to side for my neck and shoulders. Inhale.
Just keep this going. Exhale, left nostril. I'm going to half close that left nostril if I can to create more of a valve. Inhale, Ujjayi, both nostrils. Constricting the throat, exhale, right nostril. Just keep this going your own timing. Pick a ratio. So inhale 4 to 10 seconds, exhale the same. Again, your hands can just be those little beaks, or you can do the Mrigi mudra. I'm just going to show that because I can see some of you are confused. Okay, so this is Mrigi mudra. Okay, you can do this as an alternative or this. So play with that.
Try to keep the elbow nice and high
as you do it. And just finishing up. Hands at the heart. Om Shanti together. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. Namaste. Namaskaram. Thank you very much.